Welcome to another episode of Heart and Health Wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Melissa Welch, and I'm so glad that you are here. This is a space where, whether you're a working mom or just a busy individual, we simplify the way you care for your body, mind, relationships, and foster a sense of purpose. Each week, we explore evidence-based tools that are rooted in your whole person wellness, which includes your biological, psychological, social, and spiritual domains of health to help you feel more aligned and empowered. I do it all without the fluff, and I try my best not to overwhelm you. All that being said, I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for listening, and let's get started. Before we get started, I have to tell you about something that's super exciting. Y'all know I talk about We Are Amma all the time and the nursing cover that they made called The Cocoon. Well, they just did something really cool. They actually edited the design so that the hem of the cocoon is now this beautiful scalloped detail. And if I was still nursing, I would absolutely have already bought one because it is so pretty. But I'm not in that season of life anymore. I still use the cocoon that I do have, but I don't necessarily need another one. But I promise you the next time I have a mom that I'm shopping for a baby shower, she's getting one of these beautiful scalloped cocoons because it is so pretty. So if you need one for yourself, or you have a mom that you're shopping for right now for a baby shower, you know someone who's breastfeeding who would appreciate this, you absolutely need to go grab one. I think they only have it in a few of their very popular colors just to test it out right now. So definitely grab it before they sell out. And if you use the code Melissa, Melissa, you'll get a special discount. And of course, that just helps me keep the show running and things like that. So thanks for considering it. But do not miss out on this scallop detail because it is so pretty. I will put the link for that down in the show notes. Okay, so today I want to make a quick note for those of you who have been listening since I started the podcast back in February. Thank you, first of all, so much for your support and for listening each week and encouraging me and sending me messages, letting me know that you're enjoying the content. I really, really appreciate it. I also want to make a note. You may have noticed that on my social media, if you follow me there, I've started to transition a bit where my focus is more on working moms. And that's primarily because that's the season of life that I'm in right now. And that's who I'm most connected to and want to serve. However, I recognize that there are many of you who are either not women in general, or you're women, but you're not moms, or you're moms, but you're not working. And so it's possible that some of you will think, well, what does that mean for me? Where does that leave me? I want you to know that even when I am talking to working moms directly, many of the issues that I'm discussing or strategies that I'm suggesting that they use can be applied to lots of people, not just working moms. But I just want you to be aware that that is happening so that you're not completely, or you log in one day and go, oh my goodness, when did everything change? So first of all, that's shifting a little bit, but I still think there's going to be value that you can get from the episodes and from the content that I'm sharing on social media, but just know that that is happening. And also, I have really found that doing episodes every other week feels much more doable and manageable in this season of life that I'm in right now, and feels like I can take a little bit of the pressure off to get, 2 out each month, but maybe not one every single week. And I'm going to pull back on the video. So I may still be posting to YouTube, but it'll have a picture or something over it. Maybe I can find a cool way to incorporate AI to make it a video. Don't know about that yet, but I'm going to stick with audio just because it's an easier way for me to talk to you directly without the pressure of looking a certain way or having my hair done or being able to have the lighting just right, whatever it is. Because right now I'm sitting in bed recording this and it just feels much more natural to be able to talk to you like this. So I am going to be pulling away from that. I will still try to show up on video, whether it's on TikTok or on Instagram Reels or stories. so that you can actually see me and we can connect in that way. But when it comes to the podcast, I'm going to be going down the path where I stick with audio. We're in the middle of November right now. Next week is Thanksgiving, which is exciting. So happy early Thanksgiving. Or if you're listening to this later, I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. And so I probably will only have a couple more episodes in this calendar year. And then I think I'm going to transition to season 2 of the podcast in 2026. And then that'll give me an easy way to organize seasons of the show going down the road in the future. So nothing that you need to be aware of there, but just letting you know kind of my processing and ideas of how I'm organizing all this. If you're new to the show, welcome. It's totally okay that you don't know what's going on. This has been a fun experiment, a fun project, kind of a passion project that I've had since February of this year. And I've learned so much about podcasting and about managing my own time and doing something that I enjoy without burning out. And I'm just excited to share all of this stuff with you. And I'm glad that you're here, regardless of whether you've been listening since the beginning or you're brand new. Okay, so today I want to talk about something that so many working moms actually deal with. But honestly, like I said before, anyone with a full life and who feels busy can relate to this, and that is overstimulation. So that feeling of being completely touched out, like nobody even look at me and think about touching me anymore, or talked out, I cannot listen anymore. I definitely feel this sometimes as a therapist, and on days when I've had sessions back to back to back, I've listened all day long and I'm exhausted. Or like your brain is running 47 tabs at once and you still can't find the one that you need. And I'm just curious if any of you are like me, where you have way too many tabs open on your computer at one time. If you have figured out the secret to having only 1 or 2 tabs open at a time, please message me. I need to know how you have figured that out because that is not my strong suit. Anyways, so whether you're touched out, talked out, or like your brain is just running and you don't know which way to turn, I need you to know that you are not alone. Overstimulation is very, very common. So in this episode, I'm going to keep it very simple and relatable and pack it with small things that you can actually use this week. And I'm not going to give you anything that's overly complicated or ridiculous that you really have to learn. These are probably things that you're familiar with or have done before, but maybe you just aren't putting into practice on a regular basis. So this isn't something that's going to be adding work to your plate or creating even more responsibility for you. So take a deep breath and exhale and just know that these are going to be actual helpful techniques and tools for you. So we're going to unpack why overstimulation happens, especially for moms, and then we'll go through some realistic ways that you can use to regulate your brain, your body, and your energy using that biopsychosocial spiritual approach that I love to talk about. So again, take a deep breath, get comfy, and let's go through this together. As a reminder, the stuff that I talk about on this podcast are things that I actually do in my own life. And I don't necessarily do it perfectly every day, but I do use these tools. And so I share them with you because I know that they work. So first of all, let's just start with the basics. Overstimulation happens when your brain gets more input than it can process. That could be things like noise or touch, like a child trying to hug you or climb up your leg, or it could be visual clutter, someone who definitely has a messy kitchen counter sometimes, and then I try to put it in stacks, and that makes me feel a little bit better, like I have more control, but still when you look at it, it's messy, so I just need to put it away. Or constant interruptions, like if you have notifications going off on your phone all the time, this is one that people are really bad about, not turning off those notifications because you'll just get dinged every couple of minutes. The mental load, all the things that you're trying to remember and take care of and make sure that you are planning and thinking ahead and things like that, or all of those things that are happening at the exact same time. So it's really important for you to understand that your brain is not failing when overstimulation happens. It's actually doing what it's designed to do, and that's signaling to you and raising that little red flag saying, hey, there's too much coming in at once. We need to do something about this. So I need you to recognize that overstimulation is not a personality flaw. It's not a sign that you're being dramatic. It's not that you're being too sensitive. It is just your nervous system working overtime. And when you're a working mom or you're a busy woman who's carrying a lot, your threshold is already lower because your system rarely gets the downtime that it needs to reset. So I really need you to understand this isn't that you're doing something wrong. Your body is just signaling to you, we've got too much going on. It's time to do something about it. So let's talk about the first big category, and that is sensory and physical overload. If you're a mom, especially if you're a mom with young children, y'all know I have a toddler. He's 2 and a few months at this point. You know exactly what I mean when I say touched out. The little hands, they are absolutely adorable, but they are always reaching for you. And if you have one like mine, as soon as you set him down, he's immediately reaching up and asking you to pick him up. So there's going to be someone on your lap or wanting to be on your lap, on your hip or on your shoulders, in your arms, in some way, shape, or form, holding your leg, whatever it might be. My favorite is when he's holding onto my legs while I'm trying to do my makeup in the morning. So cute. One day I will miss it, I am sure, but it is also very challenging at times. But regardless, that feeling of having someone needing something from your body every minute. There's also the noise, whether that's whining. Oh my goodness, the whining right now. It is so tough. The crying, the talking. I enjoy the talking. I think it's cute even when I don't understand them, but still it's noise, or the singing or the toys that are making noise. I'm a big advocate of toys that are old school and don't make a lot of noise. I know my mom got my son one of those like pop-it things where he pushes the button and it's very entertaining to him and it makes a little noise, but it's not obnoxious like the ones that include batteries. Anyways, I'm very appreciative of toys like that. And I'm a big advocate for filling the toy box with things like that. And it's important to recognize that even joyful noise, like the talking or the singing, it is still noise and it is different than having quiet. Okay. So then there's also the visual clutter. So whether that's toys all across the living room or the laundry piles that are calling you and needing to be done, or the dishes that have started to stack and you realize that the dishwasher needs to be unloaded before you can reload it with the other dishes in the sink. Again, I would love to be the woman who always has a clean sink. I know women like that and I admire you. I think it's fantastic. That is just not me. There's always a dish in the sink. And even if I get it clean by the next day, I will put another dish in the sink. It is what it is. I need to accept it. There might be backpacks laying around or random socks or pairs of shoes or whatever. Everything that signals to you that you have a job to do. There's something that needs to be done. You can't rest yet. This is still needing your attention. So all of that information, whether it's sound or touch or what you can see, your brain is interpreting that as information that is unfinished tasks that need to be completed. And that in and of itself is exhausting. And the last one that I need to touch on is personal space or the lack of it. It is really hard to regulate yourself emotionally when you haven't had a quiet moment alone all day, including in the bathroom. I used to joke before I had a baby, I would try to go to the bathroom and I have 2 cats and the cats would be like sitting outside the door and meowing or pawing underneath the door. And it was very humorous. Like I couldn't ever get a moment to myself. Well, now I have a human child and he does the exact same thing. And it's like, just give me a second. Or he'll even be in the bathroom with me. I know y'all know what that's like because you need to be able to see him so he doesn't get into something. So you just don't have personal space or alone time. And again, I recognize that one day I will miss this season of life, but in the moment, those days are long and the years are short. And there's so much truth to that statement. I hear lots of moms, whether it's my friends or people that I work with in the clinic, so many moms tell me, I just want a minute where no one needs me. I just want to be able to sit and do what I want, whether that's scroll on my phone or watch a movie or listen to some music and just sit and be by myself. That is a sign that your sensory system is maxed out. It is totally normal. It is not a sign of a failure on your part. You are just a human being with a brain that is hitting the capacity. You are not doing anything wrong. And there's also something that we can do about that. But you really need to understand what's going on in order to be effective at trying to treat this. Okay. So next is the invisible part, the mental and emotional load. This is the part that no one actually sees. So this includes things like all the tasks that you have in your brain, remembering appointments when they are, knowing what's going on so that you can even make the appointment confidently knowing that you'll be able to attend the appointment, planning meals, just trying to figure out what we're going to make for dinner each night, keeping track of schedules. What day is the daycare closed? What day is the office closed? Do those line up, or do you need to figure out another plan? Are the in-laws available to help with babysitting? When are we trying to travel? Can we travel? What are the cars doing? What are the cats doing? This is just a glimpse into my brain of all the things that are going in my mind, right? Anticipating meltdowns, knowing that they're going to come, being prepared so that you can emotionally regulate and be available during those meltdowns, mediating conflict between your child and other children, or your child and other people. Sometimes it's between my child and my husband. And I don't know why the toddler has issue with everyone that he comes into contact with sometimes, but sometimes he does. So mediating conflict and trying to think ahead 10 steps. And all of this alone could be a full-time job, no lie. And that's why I will never criticize a mom who's decided to stay home and take care of all the things, because there's enough to do to fill a full-time job when you do that. And so if you're doing all of that and you're working a job, your brain is tired. So emotionally, you're tracking everyone's mood, everyone's needs, and everyone else's potential crises, and then figuring out how you can solve it, take care of it, prevent the issues from arising in the first place. Working moms often carry that weight of the two worlds, right? They have the professional mental load at the office, things that are going on in your career, and then you also have the family mental load. So your brain never fully shuts off. It goes from one to the other, and sometimes it's doing both at the exact same time. That makes that sensory overload hit even faster. And this is why so many women say, I'm one small thing away from absolutely losing it. And again, it's not because you're weak, it's because you are full. Your brain is full and tired. Now let's look at the body. Okay. Things like sleep deprivation, even mild sleep deprivation, waking up in the middle of the night, go to the bathroom or check on the baby to make sure they're sleeping okay, they're safe, whatever it might be. Those things impact your ability to tolerate noise, touch, and stress. Not to mention things like hormonal changes, especially in women who are postpartum or during PMS or perimenopause. All of those things can amplify sensitivity. They take something that's already difficult and make it even more challenging. Thank you so much, Mother Nature. It's fabulous. Your nervous system is already stretched super thin. And when you add sensory input on top of that, that overstimulation comes fast. So again, I keep emphasizing this, but I need you to take this away from today's episode. Your body is not broken. It is signaling to you that it needs support. It's saying, hey, listen to me. This isn't going well. Help me out, please. So now let's shift into what actually helps and what you can do about this. There are simple, doable strategies. These are not things that require money or an hour of free time that you don't have. And so we're going to go through each category of the biopsychosocial spiritual model to break these down. When it comes to your biological strategies or taking care of your body and your physical body, we can do things like having noise boundaries. So turning off background noise, using noise canceling headphones, or stepping into a quieter room for 30 seconds. So let's break down each of these. Turning off background noise. I know we're a family. We like to have TV on in the house most of the time, but sometimes when I'm feeling overstimulated and it's too much, I'll mute the TV, and then there's still something visually there that we can look at or whatever, but I don't have the noise. Or maybe instead of having the TV on, I'll decide to turn on some music and just have it nice and low. So there's still something there for stimulation, but it's not too much at that point. And then obviously, if you have a moment to yourself and you just need some quiet, go for it. Using noise canceling headphones can be challenging, especially if you have a little one who needs your attention. But if you have older kids who are self-sufficient and safe enough, you can certainly do this and just listen to some nice music and not have to worry about all the extra noise. When it comes to stepping into a quieter room for 30 seconds, sometimes we joke that that's like when moms escape to the bathroom and they try to hide. And I know we already talked about how sometimes there's children outside of the bathroom trying to find you. But if you do find a way to escape, sometimes it's like, I just need to go wash my face for a minute, or I'm going to go ahead and go brush my teeth, whatever it might be. Just give me an excuse to go to the bathroom, get away for a minute. I know another time that I really like to have some quiet or just listen to the music that I want to, or the audiobook that I want to, is when I'm in my car. But sometimes I just need to drive and have some quiet, and that's really nice. So be creative with that, but just find ways to turn down the volume knob. For micro breaks, this can be a pause before you go inside. So when I get home, I always like to be parked in the driveway and take a couple of deep breaths, whether that's right before I'm picking up my son or if my husband's picking up my son and it's right before I'm coming inside. And that just allows me to reset my mind and be in the best mental space before I go inside to join my family. You could also do this before you open your laptop if you're someone who feels like you're already behind and opening the email or looking at the calendar stresses you out. Taking a little pause and doing some deep breaths before you do that can help recenter you. Or before you answer a question. I know I often catch myself if I'm being asked a question over and over and over and over and over again, and I can sense that my body is getting flustered or frustrated. I take a second to pause, take a deep breath, and then I answer the question appropriately. Again, it's a reminder that I can regulate my nervous system much better than my toddler can. So it's my responsibility to take care of what's going on for me internally, and using a micro break can really help with that. Hydration and nourishment. Small stabilizers like drinking water, making sure that you're getting enough protein, or taking those deep breaths can make a really big difference. So make sure that you're actually taking care of your body physically and with good nutrition and things like that. And then grounding breath. If you are needing to really get yourself back to a place of calm, use those deep breaths. Picture that box breathing if you want to, where you're inhaling for 4 seconds, exhaling for 6, and then repeating that several times until you can notice that your body is calming down, your heart rate is coming down, and you feel more centered. So those deep breaths are going to signal safety to your brain and feel like you can be more present without being in that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn state of mind. Remember, you need to keep it simple. You don't need a full routine here. You just need some regulation techniques that you can implement in the heat of the moment, and it just takes a few seconds or a minute or two. Nothing fancy here. For psychological strategies when we're taking care of our mind, one of the things that I really like to do is name whatever the issue is. So something about saying it out loud, writing it down, really gives you power over the issue. So naming it, saying something like, I'm feeling overstimulated right now. It's okay that my brain is feeling that way. I have something to do about it. But labeling it reduces that sense of overwhelm, reducing the decisions that you have to make every day. So create defaults for yourself, whether that's default meals. If you're someone who can plan ahead for meals, that's awesome. If it's default outfits, if it's, I know one thing that I've been trying to do lately is get rid of the things in my closet that I don't wear. That way it solves a couple of issues. One, I don't have as much laundry to do. And two, when I go into my closet to get dressed, the things that I'm looking for or the things that I'm looking at as options are things that I like wearing, that fit, that are appropriate for the season. And so it takes some of that clutter out of my closet, makes it a little bit simpler for me. Or if it's a default morning routine, what time you're getting up so you have time to get ready, do your makeup, get dressed before the kids get up, or whatever it looks like for you, figuring out what that morning routine is. And anytime you have something that's a default or a regular structured routine, it just takes some of that thinking out of the equation so you don't get as overwhelmed. And then the third one here is to let go of those shoulds. I know we've talked about this before, but it is so important to replace I should be able to handle this with something like my brain is asking for a break, and that's okay. Take out should. If you want to, you can replace it with could, or I might, or I may, giving yourself the option rather than telling yourself you should be doing it a certain way and then shaming yourself or having a guilt trip for not doing it the quote unquote right way. Okay. So psychological relief is about giving yourself permission to be human and do what you can, but not trying to strive for perfection because it is simply unattainable and you're going to wear yourself out that way. For social strategies, and this is taking care of your relationships, you can do something called micro asks where you're asking for help and support, but it's not a big ask. So it's not something that's going to really put someone in a tricky spot. So this could be as simple as, can you take the kids for 10 minutes so I can, cool off or go take a shower or whatever? Can you handle bedtime tonight? Or I need space to reset for a minute. I'll be right back. One of my favorite things that Brene Brown talks about is how she and her husband will come home at the end of the day and say, I've had a rough day. I only have 20% to be able to give tonight. Or I've had a great day. I'm at I can give a lot today. And so they work together to figure out who's able to really contribute the energy and take care of things and work together as a team, which works really well. Of course, if you're a single mom or you have a husband who's in the military or works really difficult late hours or shifts where they're not available, and so you're kind of doing this all on your own anyways, it's okay to tell the kids, like, hey, we're going to play the quiet game for 30 seconds, or let's go sit outside and you can play in the yard and I'll sit and watch, or get creative with it to give yourself a little bit of a break. And framing it as, giving your kids an option of something that's fun to do, making it something that's exciting for them, but still is helpful to you in some way, is going to be very helpful. So get creative with it, see what you can do, but just know that this isn't just for couples where you have a partner available who can help you out. There are ways that you can do this even if you're doing it on your own. That tag team parenting is really helpful though. And when you have a partner that you can trade short breaks with instead of waiting for large chunks of time, that can be really nice. And it's important to communicate your threshold. So like I said, with Brene Brown's technique of percentages available, even if you don't do it that way, you need to at least communicate when you're at capacity and let them know that you need quiet for a few minutes and that you'll come back and re-engage with the family, but you need to get away so that you can reset for a minute. It's totally acceptable to do that, and good partnerships will allow that to happen. This isn't something where you need to have a big conversation or like ask the in-laws to come get the child for the whole weekend. Like, it doesn't have to be extreme like that. You can do very small, clear communication techniques with someone else to ask for help when you need it, or to communicate to your kids that, we're going to do something a little bit different to allow everyone to reset, them and you included. Okay, so the last domain is spiritual strategies. And this is where we look at like finding your meaning and having a sense of peace and content, having a sense of peace. So this is not about religion. It certainly can be a piece of your spiritual domain, but it's not specifically looking at religion. This is about grounding yourself in meaning and purpose and feeling good about what you're doing. So this can be as simple as something like a 20-second gratitude check. I'm reading a book right now. I think it's called The Magic. Oh, I hope that's not wrong. Anyways, it's the same people that wrote the Secret book. Anyways, but it's all about gratitude and the power of gratitude. And it's just a good reminder. I already knew this, but it's just a good reminder of how powerful practicing gratitude really can be. So even if it's just 20 seconds, allowing yourself to think of 2 or 3 things that you're grateful for, saying it out loud, really expressing why you're grateful for those things, and then saying the words, thank you. Really letting yourself just be immersed in a sense of gratitude for a minute can help. Another thing that I love to do is stepping outside. Again, if you have little ones, you can do this with them, but stepping outside, looking at the sky. It's during the day. You can watch for airplanes together or look at the clouds, or you can go out at night and look at the stars, but just really connecting with nature in a simple way that doesn't take a lot of time. You can also ask yourself this question: what matters most in the next 10 minutes? I do this with myself all the time when I notice myself trying to hurry through something, whether that's bath time or bedtime or story time. And if I sense that I'm trying to speed through it, I try to slow myself down, remember to be in the moment, and ask what really matters. And usually it's a sense of connection or a sense of being, together for quality time and really enjoying that. But finding purpose in the season that you're in without totally romanticizing it, but just being thankful for it and appreciative of the purpose that you have or the role that you're playing right now in this season of life. And just remember that these micro moments are going to give your nervous system some perspective, and really recognizing that you are safe, that you're not failing, and that it's okay that you are feeling overstimulated. I'm just overstimulated. I'm safe. I'm not failing. It's good to say those words to yourself out loud. Okay. Again, to wrap it all up, I want you to hear this clearly. Overstimulation does not mean that you're a bad mom. It does not mean that you can't handle your life. It does not mean something is wrong with you. It means that you are carrying a lot. It means that your brain and your body need a pause, and that pause does not have to be big. It just has to be intentional. You are human and you are doing a beautiful job in this life. No, it's not perfect because you are human, but you're doing beautifully. So as you move through your week, I want you to identify a moment when overstimulation shows up. And in that moment, I want you to pause, just name it for what it is, take a deep breath or two, maybe three, and then use one small strategy that we talked about in today's episode to help you reset. As always, if this helped you in some way, shape, or form, I would ask that you would send it to another mom who needs to hear that she's not alone, to provide some encouragement to a friend who you know might be struggling, and give it a great rating. If you would be able to do that, that would really be appreciated on my end. And send me a message. Let me know what stood out to you, what was helpful, what you liked. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening, and thank you for letting me be a small part of your wellness journey and your day today. I'm going to list some resources and things down in the show notes if you want to check those out. Don't forget to check out We Are Alma's new cocoon design with the scallop edge. I'm telling y'all, it is so pretty. So even if you don't have intentions of buying one, just go click on the link because I think it is so pretty and feminine. I love it so much. Use that code Melissa if you want a discount when you check out. I think it's 15% off that you get when you use the code. But that is all I have for you today. I'll see y'all in a couple weeks. Have a fabulous Thanksgiving. And until next time, take care of yourself and be well.